Hi everyone. What do you need to self-publish your book, and how expensive are these items? My name's Lisa Oliver. I'm an author of 80 plus titles, all self-published, and if you want to find out how you can go about doing this yourself, then keep watching this video. As I said previously, I'm a self-published author. I publish predominantly on Amazon. That's where I make the bulk of my income. However, that I do also publish some of my titles through Smashwords as well. I live in New Zealand, so my titles, I don't have automatic access to sites like Apple, Barnes & Noble and Kobo. So I distribute through Smashwords, and they do it for me, for my non-Amazon customers, or my non-Amazon readers. But anyway, it's all very well having readers. You've got to get your book published first. So, have you finished it? You've typed the end. You're happy with your story. You've watched my video about not tweaking, and you're comfortable that you're happy to let it out into the world. You've decided that it makes financial sense to self-publish your work now. So you're thinking, what do I do now? Okay, so the things you need is you need to get your book edited, you need to get a cover, you need to write a blurb, you need front and back matter. Guess what? That's it. Because marketing's something altogether. Yes, that's a whole video on itself. Anyway, okay, so let's start at the beginning. You need an editor. Okay, and if you approach an editing company, depending on the length of your book, you could find out that to edit your book successfully will probably take a couple of months and probably cost anything from $1,000 to $10,000. Yep, don't turn off the video yet. I don't pay that at all. When you're a newbie and you're in a specific genre, you've probably written the book you want to read, right? So there are authors that you read in your genre. Now, you have signed up to friend them on Facebook, haven't you? You're following them on Twitter. You're, I don't know, following them on Instagram. I don't know what other platforms you might use. But you are following them, aren't you? You're a friend of them, aren't you? Guess what? Private message them. Hey there. My name's Jo Smith, and I have just finished a book. I absolutely adore your work, and I noticed how well edited it was. Could you recommend an editor to me? Now, admittedly, depending on what genre you are in, you may have to send that message out to a dozen authors before you get a reply. If you're in the genre, like I am, we are a really friendly bunch of people. And I mean, you could PM me on Facebook. My links are below. You can PM me and I'll recommend people for sure. But editors don't have to cost a lot of money. If you become friends with other authors, you can reciprocate. I have one deal with an author that I do that with. We edit each other's books. Cast another eye over it. I am not an editor, neither is she, but we read the books as a reader would, so we can pick up plot holes, we can pick up glaring name mistakes, wrong words, things like that. Then I do pay another editor I have who works part-time. It's just a side business for them, so they're a lot cheaper. I don't pay more than $100 for a book to be edited, because it's just something they enjoy. They enjoy my books, so they're happy to edit them for me. And I have two people that I do with that, because I don't pay a professional editor, like as in has gone to school, has got degrees and things like that editor. I have 3 of them per book. And it's amazing. Then they all pick up different things and my books are edited. Anyway, so those are suggestions for you. Another way, if you completely, oh, I'm not sure I could, PM or DM or whatever it is you call it, my favourite authors, go on Fiverr or Upworks and put in for a job. Tell them your budget is $100. Somebody will do it for you. Just make sure they're English speaking if that is the language of your book. But please, edits, approach a local college for editing students. They'd be glad of an extra $100. Put a notice up in your local supermarket. There might be an editor who's on holiday, not a holiday, what do they call it? Maternity leave, who might be glad of an extra couple of dollars under the table. There are plenty of ways to find an editor, and they are really important to the success of your book. So please don't neglect that step. Okay? But you don't have to pay the earth for it either. Right. The next step, the cover. Don't tell me you have the graphic skills of a gnat and even your stick figures look wonky. It's fine. It's exactly the same. I am exactly the same. However, I make all my covers. And I use Photoshop. And I have a subscription with royalty image company like Shutterstock. I do think I use Shutterstock and Dreamstime. You can get cheaper ones like Pixabay, which I believe have images available for free. And all I learnt was the layering tool in Photoshop and learnt how to adjust the transparency and what have you, and then add some text over the top. My covers are really basic, but my covers became my brand, and they are a simple thing to do. Now, if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, if Photoshop is a subscription on its own now, there are free versions to that online. But if you absolutely, the thought of trying to layer a cover together just freezes you, again, approach a friend, go on Fiverr. The one thing you need to make sure of with your cover is please do not use copywritten images from Google, because the last thing you want is to actually listen to my advice, start making some money with your books, and then have Amazon close your account and refuse to pay you royalties owed because you have breached copyright. You've stolen somebody else's pictures. Let's not do that, okay? If you don't have the ability yourself to create a cover, then go on Fiverr and pay maybe $20, or do a search on Google for pre-made covers in your genre. They can range in price. I have seen them as cheap as $25. Obviously, there are some really expensive ones as well, but you don't need that for your first book. You just need a cover that is relevant, that speaks to the nature of your book, conveys the emotions in your book, and is similar to what other people have on the covers of their books in your genre. And if you're not sure what should actually go on your cover, if you've got no clue, go on to Amazon, type in your genre, then top 100, and it'll bring you up the first 20 on the page, and you'll be able to see for yourself what components of a cover are on these covers of the bestsellers in that genre, in your genre. And I got to admit, I was really lucky because I write romances. A half-naked male torso will do it for my covers with a bit of a eerie background and some white text on top, and I have a cover. But whatever yours is, have a look, see what other people are doing. A cover is really important to your book because it is the first thing your prospective reader sees. So make sure that it's not too cluttered and complicated, and make sure when it's that teeny tiny thumbnail size that the title can still be read and your author name too, if possible. Right, so the next thing we need is your blurb. Your blurb, if you've managed to snag your potential reader with your cover, and then they click on that cover or the link of the book and they go in, they're going to read your blurb, the description of your book. If you're not quite sure what that means, it is what is usually written on the back of a paperback. It's what the book is about. I use what's called the 3-paragraph system, because mine are romances, so it has 2 leading characters and then a 3rd paragraph. So I have a 1 paragraph that introduces my first character. I have the 2nd paragraph introduces my 2nd character, and then the 3rd paragraph hints at the things that they will go through before they get their happy ever after. And I stick to that formula all the time. If you're not sure, and if you're not writing romances but you're writing other type of books, then again, use those 100 bestseller that I suggested you go and look at for covers. Click on a couple of them and read how they present their descriptions. You want just enough information to snag a reader's attention and have them asking questions. The questions that your book are going to answer. Okay? Now, front matter and back matter are simply those parts in the book before you get to the story. So at the beginning of your book, on your first page, is going to be your title page. It's going to have your title. It's going to have your series name if it's a series. And then it's going to have the author's name. And that's all that goes on the first page. Then you flick to the next page. And on your next page, you're going to have that teeny tiny fine print that says who the cover design is done by, who the cover images are, who owns the copyright to the cover images, the fact that you have the copyright of the book, and then there's usually a paragraph or 2 about the penalties involved for stealing your work. Now, if you're not sure what to write, because it is quite legalese, you can run a Google search for a suggested front matter page, or have a look in your on writers' sites like Writers Beware. They have suggested copies there that you can just fill in your blanks, and they have the legalese. Or get in touch with, find for yourself on Google the copyright laws that apply to your state or country, and then you can tweak up a little blurb about that. All you're basically saying is, please don't steal my work. But looking at the front of a lot of other books will give you an idea of what goes on that front matter. So that's your copyright page and your warnings page. Then you may have a dedication page. That's entirely up to you. An acknowledgements or author's note page. Again, they're optional, entirely up to you. You do want a table of contents. Please work that out. In your writing program, I use Word. All you do is change your chapter headings to headings, and then Word creates a table of contents for you by clicking a button. But, that's something you do need. Amazon will pill you up if you don't have it. And then the following page is where your story starts, chapter 1. With regards to back matter, if this is your first book, all you probably need to put in there is an about the author page. And in your about the author page, you will include information to your social media links, to your blog if you've got one, where they can sign up your newsletter if you've got one, and things like that. Again, if you're not sure what to put in yours, go and have a look at your favourite authors and see what they do, because it's the easiest way to learn. And then that's it. You save your file. You're going to assume that it's in a format that Amazon will accept. You have already opened your free KDP account, and if you're not sure where to find that, you type in kdp.amazon.com or .co.uk or .com.au or whatever for your country, and you sign up for a free account, usually using your Amazon login, and then all you do is hit the publish button, or hit the publish button. You have 3 options now: Kindle, paperback, or hardback. And then you just fill in the forms. It really is that simple. It's really not expensive. It's not that difficult at all. And Amazon in particular has a ton of help on how to do it. Now, my video is getting a bit long. I did want to touch on marketing as well, but I will do that in another video because that can get quite extensive. But look, it can sound quite overwhelming when I present you with all this information in one go. Take your time. Listen to it a couple of times if you have to. If you've got any questions, if something I've said isn't clear, because of course it's clear in my head, but I've done it 80 times. So if it's not clear in yours, I am honestly a friendly person. Drop it in the comments. Hey, Lisa, you said something about covers or editors or something, and I couldn't make out what you were saying. I will answer. I will help. Okay, so drop your questions in the comments below. If you did like this, please hit the like and subscribe button. I was going to say please pity me or take pity on me, but I don't need you to take pity on me. But it would really, between you and me, I happy dance every time I get a new subscriber. So if you could hit the like and subscribe, that would be wicked cool. Thank you so much. And as always, hug the ones you love, my friend. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.